This mid-morning storm, with winds in excess of 95 kilometers an hour, created a blowdown area 70 kilometers long and 25 kilometers wide through the heart of Boise Cascade Canada's cutting area in the Pakwash Forest. The cigar-shaped blowdown area extends from about 40 kilometers north of Kenora in a northeasterly direction to about 30 kilometers southwest of Red Lake. The area of damage encompasses some 150,000 hectares, about 1,500 square kilometers, and it covers about 28% of the Pakwash. Like a tornado, some areas were left totally unscathed by the high winds, while in others, swaths of downed trees and snapped tree trunks are all that remain. Now lying on the ground is anywhere from 1 million to 1.5 million cords of wood, a 4-year supply for the Kenora mill. The Pakwash is the main cutting area for the Kenora mill, and the company and the Ministry of Natural Resources are now in a race against time to salvage what wood they can from the damaged areas. Miraculously, no one was injured in the storm, and there was very little damage aside from the destroyed trees. The big problem will be in the timber salvage operation and in the increased fire danger.
The big rainstorm we received in Kenora last week may have seemed quite violent, but it was nothing compared to what occurred up north. Winds which were estimated to be blowing at over 100 miles per hour lashed the Pakwash forest area, resulting in extensive damage. Ben Coxworth has more in this report.
Just before 11 a.m. last Thursday, a very severe northeasterly windstorm hit the Pakwash Forest and surrounding area located southwest of Red Lake. It lasted for about half an hour. The storm resulted in what is known as a blowdown, wherein approximately 150,000 hectares of trees were either blown over completely or had their tops snapped off. The area affected spreads from one corner of the Red Lake Crown Management Forest across 28% of the Pakwash Forest and into the side of the Kenora Crown Forest. It is about 70 kilometers long and up to 25 kilometers wide. This is a perimeter measurement of the area. Not all the trees within it were blown over. The Pakwash Forest is 60 to 65% jack pine with a high population of black spruce as well. It is one of the 2 forest management areas managed by Boise Cascade and therefore a major source of timber for that company. Although there were no deaths or injuries resulting from the storm, there was property damage at various camps and lodges. One such place was Stork Lake Lodge, where the earlier shown home videos were shot. Another was the logging camp owned by Jim Ames. Wally Weeb spoke to him at his camp this Thursday.
I mean, there's not too much to say because it just everything happened in about 5 minutes, and I mean, there came water down. You couldn't see 10 feet, and you couldn't really see what's happening, and it's just blowing and you were just scared, and I laid in the bottom of the Jeep and wait till it's all over, you know.
You've been logging for a number of years, and have you ever seen anything even close to this?
Well, this summer I'm going to be in August, on the 7th of August, I'm going to be 40 years working in the woods, and I mean, I've seen a lot of storms and little twisters, and maybe about 1 or 2% of this magnitude. You know, like this is a total disaster. I mean, nobody could even imagine. I mean, you could tell the people all they want. If they see that, it's unbelievable.
Boise plans to harvest as much of the wood as possible before it rots or becomes bug infested. There are an estimated 1 to 1.5 million usable cords of wood now on the ground. It also presents a large fire hazard in an area where lightning strikes occur frequently. In fact, Jeff Gawney, Fire Operations Marshal for Red Lake, stated that plans are already in effect for dealing with a fire in the area. He says fires in such conditions are hard to put out and require special training on the part of the firefighters. Wally asked Dave Baird, superintendent for Boise in the Pakwash Forest, what the company's plans are for salvaging the trees.
Map it and come up with an initial attack plan that we can institute as quickly as possible to start some kind of a salvage. And secondly, we've got to try and find some markets for a lot of the wood down. Our mill in Kenora can only use some of it, and we've really got to start getting together with some other companies to see if we can't put a salvage operation in place.
How long do you think it would take in order to clear all this out?
Well, we've really got to escalate the cutting. If the markets are there, we got 2 years maximum. Anything that's going to be done has to be done in 2 years, or the wood's too far gone to use in any mill. So it's dependent entirely on markets, and economics. If the money's around to pay for the extra harvesting costs, extra road building costs, it's something we just got to look at the next couple of weeks.
Wally also spoke to Mike Maxfield, Senior Forest Management Area Forester for the Ministry of Natural Resources, about the ministry's plans.
Yeah, we're looking forward to working closely with Boise Cascade, recognizing the devastation that's happened here. We've got to get together and amend the existing plans so that we can, as promptly as possible, get in and get some work done as far as utilizing the blown down timber.
Now, one of the main problems is, of course, the damage that has been done to the wildlife. Not only for, of course, the birds losing their homes, but there's a lot of wildlife on the ground that, of course, everyone has to be concerned about.
Yeah, exactly. There's definitely been a major impact on the wildlife, and the one thing to keep in mind, however, is that just as the forest up in this part of the country is well adapted to mass disturbances such as forest fires, insects, and blowdown, the wildlife as well is adapted to life in the boreal forest. So there are individuals that have been displaced, and I'm sure there's been some fatalities, obviously, but I think that they'll adapt in the same way that the forest will.
And finally, at an informal press conference held at the logging camp, Mr. Ams had this to say.
Cascade going to pay more money
Well, I mean, it's
for the wood that you're harvesting now than...
Well, I'm quite sure about it, we can get to that. I don't worry about that now. I'm worried about cleaning it up first. Going to get going now. Oh, it's going to cost more money. Yeah, everybody knows that. Yeah.
What did it sound like when these trees started?
Oh, I mean, it sounded like something I never heard before. There was half a trees, when they snapped off, they were going through the air like a boat, like spears. I was sitting in my Jeep and I had the brakes locked and everything, and it bounced my Jeep right off the road, right in the ditch. I was about 2.5 or 3 miles up the road, coming into I was escorting my float coming off, and I was scared. And I mean, I've been in the bush 40 years, but I was scared. Yeah, I was laying in the bottom of my Jeep, and I had my little pups with me, and they were crawling all over me. They were screaming. So it was just a miracle that I didn't get hit with a big chunk of wood or something.
Have you seen anything like that before, or no?
I've never ever seen anything like that before. No, I've been in a lot of storms. I mean, when you're 40 years in the bush, you see blow down, like 5, 10 acres, or 20 acres, or 50 acres even. But I mean, this was just something what should happen down in the tropics, not here. Yeah, I mean, nobody ever sees it. There's a pilot there, you never seen that in his life, and he's flying it every day. Like you look up there, I mean, I don't want to go in an airplane anymore. I don't want to see that mess. Like it makes me sick. I've been a logger all my life, and we had the area we call the Bond Road, and we were proud we had some of the best timber Boise has. I mean, we're saving it like it's in the bank, you know, that's where it is, you know. And when we want it, we go there and get it, you know, and now it's all down, you know. So that's hard to take.
We would like to thank Stan Leishan of Boise Cascade Canada for providing some of the footage used in that story.